This app just made over $1 million in MRR in less than 10 months after launch. And the craziest part is that I just built a clone of it in less than 30 minutes without writing a single line of code. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do it yourself, step by step. And by the end, you will have a fully working app that you can publish and start making money with, starting from today. Now, professional web development is hard. Normally, you need years of study, expensive tools, or a whole team of developers. But there's an AI builder called Mokka that changes everything. It lets you build complex apps using nothing but prompts and images, entirely from your browser. I created 4 simple steps that will take us from nothing to a fully functional full-stack app in just a few minutes using AI. With no coding required, no expensive software, and done in less than 30 minutes. But now before we get into it, we need to understand why TimeLeft has done so well, which is the app that we are cloning. So right away you notice that the landing page is clean, it has minimal text, clear images, and a bright color scheme that grabs attention without overwhelming the user. Let's take notes of this and it will help Mokka with the design. Notice how each question has short, clearly defined answers. A new user can fly through the onboarding in just a few minutes and understand everything. And even the final dashboard is just as simple and intuitive. Now let's grab a screenshot of this page since we want to build something similar, and it will save us a ton of time from having to type huge blocks of text. Instead, we will just use the image as reference. So now that we have a rough idea of what we are building, now we actually can get started. Now in Mokka, click this button to create a new app, and this section is where we enter in our prompt. But we need to make sure that the prompt is very specific so that Mokka will be able to build an app that meets our needs. Without the right prompt, the app will be very basic and not have all of the features that we want. To do this, we'll be using Opus 4.6 because it's the best model out there that can easily understand vague instructions. And by the way, I have written this entire video as a step-by-step guide if you want to follow along as you build. The link is in the description. Now here's what we're going to do. First, I'll describe my idea in simple terms to Opus 4.6, just like I'm doing now. Then I will tell Opus 4.6 the AI app builder I am using so it can customize my prompt accordingly. So for this walkthrough, we are using Mokka. Now just watch what happens when I hit enter. Behind the scenes, Opus 4.6 takes your one-sentence idea and breaks it into features, mapping out user flows, adding all the technical details the AI actually needs, and it structures everything perfectly for Mokka and fills in gaps that you might not even have thought of. And now it's ready. Now let's just paste this prompt into Mokka and see what it generates. Okay, after a few minutes, this is what Mokka gives us. And just like that, we have a working first version. I have Antigravity installed on my computer and I have paid for it. And I had to look up several tutorials on how to configure the various models. And I think Antigravity is very good, but it's way harder to get started. Whereas Mokka provides an easier workflow by abstracting away all of these complexities and letting us just focus on creating our app. But while this app could easily be published as it is right now, we need to make sure that the UI is way nicer and add a few more features before our app is ready to be published to the App Store. So now let's start by improving the UI. So the first thing I notice is that the main dashboard does not look that good right now. So now back to what we did in the beginning, here's something very powerful. While we could describe the entire layout and how everything should look like with just words, it's actually way better to use Mokka's feature where you can just instruct the chatbot using images. So now let's just take that screenshot from TimeLeft that we took earlier and paste this into Mokka and then just ask the chatbot to make our dashboard page look similar to the attached image. So now Mokka will scan the image and get to work. So after a few seconds, here's what our design looks like. And just like that, the dashboard has been transformed. It's absolutely amazing how well that actually works. Now, while Antigravity has a similar feature of just pasting in the screenshot you want and it will copy it, I found it not as straightforward in Antigravity because you might have to change the AI models to get it working right, whilst Mokka just uses the best one. Antigravity also uses much more processing power than Mokka for the same operations, which is problematic if you're on an older machine. I feel like adding some animations like a scroll and adding lazy loading images would make our landing page a lot better. So let's tell Mokka to do this. Now after a few minutes, just look at this. There we go. So the landing page is now looking a lot nicer. You can keep changing the UI until it looks exactly as you want it to. So now we need to add that onboarding section for new users. And this is very important when you're deploying your app to the App Store because it will give new users all the information they need to use the app properly and understand everything. And if you have added a hard paywall to your app, it will convert all of the users as well. Now let's tell Mokka to create this. Okay, so here is what we have after just a few seconds. The onboarding flow is is now working perfectly, and you can even tweak these questions to your liking using the chatbot if you want to. And by the way, I have noticed one thing: Mocha doesn't just create an exact clone of attached images, it looks at the generated design and then creates something similar. And this is actually a good thing because we will end up with a unique product instead of just a direct copy of Timeleft. Now let's move on to the next important step: adding events on a map. See this feature where you can view events on a map? Adding an interactive map with Antigravity was something that I really struggled with. It took a frustrating long amount of time. But with Mocha, just watch how easy this actually is. All I need to do is just to tell the chatbot to add events to an interactive map so that logged in users can view meetup details by clicking on location pins. And in just a few minutes, this is what it does. We have an interactive map with event pins. I'm honestly blown away by how fast Mocha works. I tried the same task with Antigravity, but it kept failing after thinking for way too long. Okay, now Mocha just notified us that the feature has been updated. So let's scroll to that section that shows the map with pins showing the events. But wait, the page is empty, so there's probably an error. So in normal software development, I'd have to dig into the code and hunt for where the code was breaking, which is very time consuming and honestly incredibly difficult, but not with Mocha. So let me just say the event details page doesn't show anything. And then Mocha will go into the code, find the mistake and fix it, while I just sit back and watch. And it does this in minutes. Perfect. So the event details page now works exactly as expected. You can continue tweaking this page to match your app's design and features, but let's just move on to the most important step, which is building the payment system. So we can't lose sight of why we are building this app. Of course, we are doing all of this work to make money. So that means that we need a way for users to easily pay for premium features. So since our app is essentially an event listing app, there are several monetization options. We can charge for event listings per event or via listing a package, or for example charge users for a newsletter with notifications about new events in their area, or finally we can create custom events and charge for attendance. So just the fact that Timeleft is making serious cash proves that there's an underserved niche for this type of service. We can get really creative with the monetization strategies after we deploy the app and start getting users. For now, let's just tell Mocha to create a pricing flow with the first option: charge users for every event listing. And I'm going to use Stripe since it's way easier to integrate for the payments. And now just like that, we have a working payment integration. I'm incredibly impressed with how well this was implemented. I have a software development background and I can tell you by experience that integrating payments is one of the hardest and most time-consuming tasks. At minimum, it takes a few days to set up correctly, especially if you have problems with your payment processor. But now with AI, this can be done in just minutes, and it actually works. Okay, now let's do something crucial. If you notice, every single app that you use gives you some kind of email notification, because they are the best way to keep your users loyal to you. Now I want to do the same, and this is actually really easy with Mocha, because they can send emails on my behalf using their new feature. And that means that I don't have to purchase any external email service or set up complicated APIs. Mocha will do everything for me. So to do this, I'm simply going to prompt Mocha that I need to set up email sequences for specific tasks. And once I do that, it's going to take a few minutes and then immediately set it up. Now it's done, and you can test out the email sequences if you want. But now I want to show you something very cool. If you click on the emails button in the top here and click on settings, you will be able to customize which email address actually sends the emails to users. And this is great because you can set up your custom domain to make your app appear professional and premium. Oh, and here's another very cool feature: the analytics. When you launch your app, you will be able to come here and check how your app is performing in terms of traffic and app usage. Usually analytics are very hard to set up, but with Mocha you don't even have to think about it. The analytics are here from the very start for you to monitor. Okay, now let's just quickly recap what we have accomplished so far. We have gone from a simple idea to a fully fledged app in less than 30 minutes, and we haven't written a single line of code or wasted any time with complex design software, or we haven't spent hours testing on different browsers and devices. And all of these are issues that are normal in software development. Okay, now let's actually prepare our app for publication. So it's important to make sure that our app is in its best state before releasing it to users. Because when people start using the app, they will be entering in their personal information. So we need to give them peace of mind that their data is actually safe. Now the question is, how do we do that? Now we could hire a freelance cybersecurity professional for a thorough security audit and a user experience expert to check that everything works as expected, or we can just give all of these tasks to Mocha. So let's tell Mocha to do a detailed security audit and provide a breakdown of all errors found, plus clear instructions on how to fix them. Now entering this instruction reveals something I was not expecting. So from experience, I thought this was one area where Antigravity shined, but I was actually wrong. This security audit was generated in a fraction of the time, and it's as detailed as something I'd expect from a highly paid security professional. It's just remarkable that Mocha can do this so quickly. And as you probably noticed, I haven't hit my usage limits yet. Antigravity and other AI builders would already be warning me, but Mocha does not. So now you have two options. You can go through each recommendation and ask Mocha to implement fixes one by one, or you can just ask it to handle all of the tasks in one go. Now, while option number 2 saves time, I would rather go with option number 1 because nothing will bleed users from your app faster than security vulnerabilities. We don't want all our hard work to go down the drain just to save a few minutes, and the end result will be worth it, I promise. And it's also no secret that time left is built effectively. I have tested time left in various browsers and it hasn't frozen once. So we should make sure that our app is as speedy and easy to use as possible. So now I'll just instruct Mocha to do a thorough performance audit and generate a report with prompts to implement all of the suggested fixes. Then I just sit back and wait. Now after a few minutes we have a detailed report clearly showing where we can improve this app. Now while this is not as critical as the security audit, I'd advise to take the time to implement all of these suggestions. We always want our users to have the best experience so that they're motivated to become paid members. Okay, now at this point we have done everything needed to create a proper product. So the final thing we need to do is to publish it. And this is actually way easier than you might think. All we need to do is just to hit this publish button. And now you can either edit the domain in this section or connect a custom domain in this section. Both options are straightforward and won't take more than just a few minutes. Now to keep this tutorial short and sweet, I will just publish with the domain that Mocha has given us, but you should definitely connect a custom domain during your official launch, just so the brand of your app looks more premium. Now after a few minutes, our app is live at this URL. And just like that, we have deployed our fully functional app. So now it's time for you to also build your own app. Go build something awesome for a specific niche. And if you need any help from other builders making money and getting stuff done with AI, come hang out in the free BuildWithAI Discord community via the link in the description. I also made another video breaking down exactly how to clone an app that's pulling in over $10,000 per month. You can check it out right here. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy building.